This is Comms Africa TV at the Mobile World Congress in Barcelona. I'm talking to Steve Summers of MOVIUS. Steve, MOVIUS, long-term supplies to Africa, MTN networks alone all over the continent. What sort of trends are you seeing at the moment in the market?
Well, we're seeing a lot of movement towards data, as we are everywhere else, really, Brian. You're noticing that Africa is getting more and more involved in the over-the-top plays, as provided by these bigger bandwidths that the network operators are providing through 3G, 4G, and so on. But one of the things that we're also finding is that they're leaving money on the table in terms of voice revenues. The complications over there are because of the multiple languages. I mean, there are, I think, up to 2,000 languages in Africa. It's not anything like Western Europe, of course, either, because anybody could speak anything anywhere in the country. So there's an aversion to voicemail. So call completion revenues are probably not what they should be, and there's money being left on the table by the operators in this area. So one of the things we're doing is we're deploying advanced call completion services across the continent, which is, we understand they don't want to do voicemail, they don't want to speak to a machine that speaks in a language they don't understand, but there's other ways of completing calls through, for example, missed call notification, call back now services, and also visual voicemail, which doesn't require a telephone user interface, and also we have an answer for that for feature phones as well. So not just a smartphone visual voicemail, but like a Message Me Plus, we call it, which sends in a text a URL you can click on, just hear the message, no need to listen to the TUI. This in itself, with the other services, can really help to gather back some of that revenue that's been left on the table.
And where have you deployed some of these services?
Well, all over the world, to be honest, but certainly throughout the MTN group. We have 9 of the 28 operating companies of MTN, including South Africa, Nigeria, Zambia, Congo, and so on. We've got a big footprint, and also in the Middle East, MTN Yemen, MTN Syria, for example. So we've got a big footprint, and nearly all of them are deployed MTN and Callback Now services, although not all of them. But we feel that by rolling out across the group and giving it to everybody in the network, they can get some more of that revenue that's been left on the table. So there needs to be more emphasis, we feel, on voice revenues, which is still there, even though data's growing, that's being missed at the moment.
What else? Yeah, what else do you see coming up? Anything new and exciting you're about to offer them out there?
Well, one of our big things, as you know, Brian, is our My Identity service, which is multiple lines on a single phone, and this can be in a very advanced configuration for like Western European markets in North America, South America, but also your average consumer likes to have a second line onto their mobile phone, and that's happening. For example, we're seeing in Telefonica, Mexico and Argentina. We just did a press release recently about Argentina, seeing some fantastic take-up rates over there. But we've also just won a contract in the Middle East. Can't say who it is at the moment, it's not public, but look forward to doing that very soon. But we're finding that's also another great market for that, and this will increase ARPU per user through the fact they've got 2 lines on the single phone. And we are doing trials right now in some of the larger networks in Africa, and I'm hoping to announce our first win there in the near future.
Well, that sounds very interesting. It's all part of a move in Africa, isn't it? They are definitely getting more and more connected now.
Oh, very much so, yeah. They're moving very fast. We all know that the GDP of a country always increases when GSM gets rolled out there. Everyone knows this. The GSMA talk about it, and they're absolutely right. This happens every time. And so you're gradually seeing them becoming a more connected community. And, the barrier to entry for the likes of ourselves is the multiple languages there. But if you can find a way around that, then I think there's a lot more revenue to be had for the operators.
Well, we'll look forward to hearing about that new African order, but in the meantime, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Brian.